Welcome to Sac Taff. It's been a few weeks since I've put out since I've done a podcast. I know I put a podcast out. Let me put this breakdown. I know I put a podcast out about a couple of weeks ago. That was one that I did one stage ahead, and it always helps if you have got podcasts that you've sort of maybe done two instead of one. That really does help. Yeah, so I'm getting back into the process of putting more of the podcast out, but thank you so much for your support, and I will continue because I've been reading from A Sacrifice of a Lifetime, and I will continue. Yeah, sometimes that happens, isn't it, when there's a lot going on, and you've got to have a little bit of a break or what have you, and then it's nice when you can get back into routine. So basically, I was getting to the end of chapter 9, and Rebecca, the main character, which is myself, she's basically on a date with a young man that she's met, and he's treating her really well, taking her to really nice places. And one evening, Rebecca asked Vincent a strange question. Are you sure you know what you're doing? I'm sort of reflecting upon when I got to the last stage from the last time I did the podcast. What do you mean? This is what Vincent says. Are you sure you know what you're doing by taking me out? Yes, why? Don't you think there's something wrong with me? What do you mean? So, because of all the issues Rebecca's had with people doing stuff behind her back and everything like that, she's basically got into her head that there's something wrong with her. So, and he says, what do you mean? And then she continues, well, there must be something wrong with me because of the way people stare at me, because of the way people treat me. Sometimes I feel like I'm an alien, or I have horns on my head. Maybe I can't see them and everybody else can. And Vincent says, no, the reason people stare at you is because you're attractive. I remember him saying it in a different way. He said something like, sometimes people they can see somebody and they want what they have, or something like that. But more or less, that's what he was basically saying. And Rebecca did not respond to this, since she did not believe him and thought he was just being polite. And that's the thing, you see. When you, let me put a marker there where I've just stopped. Yeah, when you have certain issues, especially in the teenage years, it does affect you, and it can affect you for the rest of your life. When people say, it could be something someone says about you. It could be the way people look at you or giggle behind your back or something. It can stick with you if you don't work on it. If you're not open about how you're feeling, and you don't speak to someone about it and they correct it, like he's just basically done. Vincent in the her boyfriend there. It can just stick with you for the rest of your life, and it can ruin it. And I think that's what it's supposed to do. It's like a negativity to make you start doubting who you are. Because there's probably great things that people can achieve, great things. But if people can put some sort of negative idea in your head that there's something wrong with you or this or that, it's an obstacle that can stop you from achieving what you're supposed to achieve. All those people that you were supposed to help can stop you from doing it because you've got this doubt in your head that there's something wrong with you, or the way that you speak, or this, that, what have you, and it can just stop you from achieving what you were supposed to achieve. Stop you from helping all those people that you could have helped just by sharing your story. Yeah. So basically, she's at that stage now, and she's at that stage, and I've never forgotten what he said. Never have I forgotten it. I don't know whether you've been in had a experience where someone has said something to you, either good or bad, right? And you've never forgotten it. It's mainly the way that I say it. I don't. When it comes to someone saying something bad to you, I think it's good if you can let go of it instead of letting it dwindle into your life, into your future, right? But it's when people say it's certain things, the good things certain people have said to me. And one of them I think I've shared with you already. That was when have I shared this all? No, I haven't got there yet. I'm going to spoil it if I share that with you. I don't think I haven't got there yet. It's actually in the book. But there's something someone says to me, says to Rebecca, says to me, a couple of years later along the line, or a year and a half later along the line, it was positive and it's always stuck with me. And what Vincent has just said has always stuck with me, positive stuff. And then there's one or two negative things people have said, and it hasn't stuck with me, but every now and then I sort of remember it. It doesn't affect me, but it makes me see how insecure those people were at the time when they said it, because they were older women, right? They were mature women. Because with me, if I have younger women around me, to me, this is me, and my, everybody's different. It's my responsibility to encourage them. It's my responsibility, to encourage them and to help them as much as I can. That's how I think. So when I reflect back and these two particular women said what they said, it just goes to show how it's a little bit of insecurity, The first one was when I remember going into a jeweler's shop. I think it was a jeweler's shop. Is that what you call them? Anyway, I was looking at some jewellery, and I was about 19. I was looking at some jewellery, and I saw an emerald ring. It was silver, because at the time I only used to wear silver, and it had emerald in it, and I liked green, and I still do. And I remember picking the ring up. I either picked the ring up, I don't think I put the ring on, or I was actually looking at the ring, but you could tell that I liked the ring, one or the other. And the lady there said, she said to me, yeah, she was talking to somebody else, and she said, yeah, emerald, I think, looks really, really good on white skin. And I didn't respond to it, but I've always remembered that. And every now and then you sort of remember it, and you sort of think, how can you imagine if I wanted to buy that ring? And let's just say that it came in a set with a necklace and a bracelet, and I wanted to buy all of them. But not only that, I left the shop happy, and then I went to go and tell people about the shop. It's really, really good. They got some. Can you, these sort of things don't really make sense, But then again, as you grow older, you see it's a little bit of insecurity. That's the first time, right? And also, obviously, mentioning colour is not encouraging, is it? And the second time was, I remember working in an office, and I had this navy blue long summer dress on, and it had little frills at the bottom. And I was wearing, I think it was a navy blue jacket. I think it was. It looked smart. And I remember one woman saying, one thing I can't stand, two colours I can't stand, or something like that. I can't remember the exact words. Two colours I can't stand. Navy blue and brown. So I'm wearing navy blue, and obviously my skin is brown, and I'm like, wow. I didn't say anything. Again, I didn't say anything. But you sort of look back and sort of think, and then you look at the person as well, and they just look very sort of pale and just a little bit drained. And with me, I don't see someone, say like I see someone like that, I don't comment on that. I look for what's coming out from them, their characters. I see beauty in the character of someone, not necessarily on how someone looks. But if people sort of look a little bit drained and what have you, but they're critical, you sort of think, it really doesn't really make sense. It really doesn't really make sense. So those are the two things, and then obviously what Vincent has said. That's positive. So it's not always negative. And even though the two were negative, as you grow older and you reflect back, you sort of see the insecurity. There's insecurity there, because like I say, my responsibility I feel, is to encourage women that are younger than me, to encourage them. Women that are my age and older, I still like to encourage, but I know how you can feel insecure, not sure about this or that when you're younger, and as you get older, you should get a little bit wiser and get it. You should be more sure of yourself, more comfortable with yourself. So I feel like there's more that you can give, yeah. So there you go. So it's just something to share about the importance of what we say, how the effect it can have on someone, not just there and then, but also can affect their future. Yeah. So and although Vincent has said this to her, basically the damage had been done. She's basically thinking that there is something wrong with her, like she's saying here. And her odd behaviour and conversation did not seem okay. Her odd behaviour and conversation did not seem to worry Vincent when he dropped her home that evening. He asked her when she was going to invite her in. She hesitated because she did not want to acknowledge him as a steady boyfriend. As a steady boyfriend, what she wanted was just a good friend who she enjoyed going out with. It was Vincent's turn to ask an unusual question the following week. Do you think we'll be together in 2 years' time? He asks. He did not expect Rebecca to reply. He did not expect Rebecca's reply. In 2 years' time, I won't be here. What do you mean? In 2 years' time, I won't be here because I'm going to kill myself. Well, that's a bit strong, isn't it? My goodness. I'm even surprised I wrote that down like that. I thought I was going to be indirect and sort of say, something. I've just basically put it there. There were many things he could have said in circumstances he might have asked her to explain, but he did not. Perhaps he did not take her seriously. What he did say was, no, you're not, because you're going to marry me. These words scared Rebecca. She had only been going out with him for 3 weeks, and now he was proposing to her. He wasn't proposing to her. He was basically stating to her what he wanted in he was basically stating what he wanted from the relationship, and what he was saying was that he's serious about her and that he wants to spend the rest of his life with her. That's what he was saying. And she had no desire to get married. At 17 and a half, she was a young person who did not like herself much, and she did not want to tie herself down to anybody. Her life was too complicated, and she would have to come to terms with herself before she could think about tying herself to somebody else. So that evening, she looked in the bathroom mirror and wept. She knew that Vincent was not the man for her. Yeah, she just knew. She knew that he wasn't for her. He was a very, very, even to this day, I still remember his character. He was a very charming young man. He was very kind and considerate, very generous, and he was like a gentleman, but she knew that this wasn't the person that she wanted to be with. And sometimes, you can meet people and you sort of think, no, this isn't the person I want to be with. Then you meet somebody else, no, this isn't the person. You can go on and on and on and on. And then you can get to a point where you're getting old now and you still, you hear it from some women whereby they're maybe in their maybe mid to late 30s, and they're like, I need to, maybe say mid 30s, where it's like, I need to settle down now if I'm thinking of having children. And they have dated before, and they've always said, nah, this wasn't the right person, and that wasn't the right person for me, and this, that, what have you, until they've got to the stage where they're now like 39 and still haven't met anyone. And sometimes, you know, in conversation, someone can say, well, maybe you had met somebody, but you're too picky. That's what the problem is. And you do see it as well. You see it when you're watching like reality TV shows where they're looking for someone. They always go for a certain, not always, they go for a certain type of person. They go for a certain look and a certain type of person. And and the person can be, when they're trying to get matched up with someone, the character's fantastic, you know, they're getting well, but it's like, no, this isn't my type though, this isn't my type of person, you know, this, that, what have you. And then the people that are trying to match them up, they're sort of saying, well, the type of person that you used to go with before, those sort of relationships didn't used to work, so maybe you needed this type of a person. But that wasn't what she was doing. That wasn't what she was doing. She knew, I feel as though she felt like he was a little bit too old for her. And he just wasn't, she just didn't feel that way about him. You can't force yourself to feel that way for someone. You can develop a friendship and a relationship, and it can turn into love and what have you. You can if you give it time. Not always, but you know, you can do. Sometimes you have to give it time. But she just felt that he wasn't the right person for her. She was too young, and she was going through her own issues. She wasn't sure about herself anyway. And what she was sort of saying is she'd have to even get over this first as well before feeling that way. Or was that an excuse? You know, but you know, she was going through stuff. She did need to sort of get through that as well. Yeah, so they met again the following weekend, and Vincent insisted on being invited into her home. Rebecca felt uncomfortable as she had never introduced a man to her father before, but she had no alternative. They entered the house, and she made a point of introducing Vincent as a friend. And Mr. Barracu was polite and greeted Vincent warmly. They sat down on the couch and watched the television. This was because in our home we had a sitting room where the family sat, which I've shared anyway, and then we've got the front room, which is for visitors, so we were in the front room. That was nice that we had our own space. And it says here, why did you introduce me to your father as your friend? Asked Vincent when Mr. Barracu left the room. Aren't I more than that? Rebecca stayed silent and continued to watch the film. I just feel as though he should have just accepted the fact that she had invited him to the house, and they had only been going out for 3 weeks. So sometimes it takes a long time now for people to say, this is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend. And she didn't feel like he was her boyfriend. She didn't feel like he was anyway. And yeah, so there you go. I didn't write this down, but I might include it in it when I rewrite it. There was a time when we were there, I remember I think I gave him a glass of wine, and then I had Ribena. And I remember picking the glass up and just drinking the Ribena down, but him thinking it's the red wine, and he's looking at me going, she's managing that. I remember that. I should include it in this. Yeah, so I haven't got long now. Oh my goodness, we're gonna finish soon. So basically what it is, yeah, I've only got less than a few minutes left now. So we've got to that stage where she's basically, Vincent, who she's only known for 3 weeks, is